Okay, they are everywhere. If you've walked outside or driven a car, you've seen the fluffy white seeds just flying all over the place, covering cars and lawns and your windshields. They come from cottonwood trees, and they can be horrible for allergies, but they can also be a problem for your home and your air conditioning. That's why Adam Helfman is here from Hire and Done. Adam, thank you so much for joining us today. I know that when you're outside, in fact, there you are by an air conditioning unit, when you're outside and you see them, you don't think about it, but those really can impact your air conditioning unit, especially if you're in an area where it's thicker and they just cake on that unit.
That's correct. In fact, it can reduce the efficiency of your air conditioner by 50 to 80%.
Really?
Yeah. So the air conditioner, the way it works is there's a fan in the middle.
Yep.
And it sucks air in through the sides in
Okay.
these little cooling fins,
Yep.
and then blows it out the top. When the cottonwood ends up attacking your air conditioner because they aim for it, they
Like a target.
restrict the airflow. And that means the motor has to run harder and longer, uses more electricity, more energy, so your energy bills go up.
It's going to
Your
cost you more
efficiency-
money now.
Yeah, and then your efficiency goes down, and it's a lose-lose situation.
Okay.
So proper maintenance is the right way to go.
Okay, so speaking of proper maintenance, though, you can't take a scrub brush to those things because those on the outside, those vents are actually very fragile, aren't they?
That's correct. So the cooling fins are very delicate. You either take a little bit of water, a hose, but not a
hose it
pressure
down.
washer.
Okay. Don't go to town with your pressure washer like you would on your driveway.
Right, exactly. Don't go to town like that, or then it's going to cost you a lot more money. The other thing is, you can use like a soft hair brush, but you have to brush down in a slow motion.
Okay.
And it's just like pulling hair off of a brush. You got to do it slowly. And then you
Kind of like the
bring it down
one
to
you
the
use to
bottom.
wash your car, that soft, real
Yes.
gentle. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's how that works.
So, given that, then, is there anything you can do to prevent them from building up, or are you just kind of stuck with it?
Well, you know what? Yeah, you can. See, the cottonwood trees, they only snow between May and the end of June. So it's about a
Seems like it's about much
60
longer
days.
than that, honestly.
It does seem like forever. You should trim the trees around your house if you have those.
Okay.
The other thing is your air conditioner needs about a 3-foot ring around it of clear space. Okay.
Like wide open, nothing, no plants, no shrubbery, no nothing.
So if you have bushes, you should at least have a 3-foot space.
Okay.
Because that also impedes the efficiency of it. However, the way air conditioners are built is there is a defense mechanism for the cottonwood. However, if you don't stick ahead of it, it's like driving down a dirt road, your car gets dirty.
Right.
You got to keep it clean eventually. But it's maintenance that's a little bit heavier during the May and June months.
Sure. What would you suggest in terms of how often that needs to be cleaned during these cottonwood seasons? Are we talking once a day, once a week?
Well, yeah, that's a great question. So homeowners should be visually aware of when they're coming out. And as you can see, we've had a really bad season this year,
right.
and it affects everyone's allergies, and it just made a big mess. What you do is once you see them falling, 2 times a week, you'll be fine.
Okay.
A lot of times, though, we've had cold weather. A lot of people aren't even turning their air conditioning on yet. Or
Right.
They try to go as late into the season before they turn it on. So
Right.
it's kind of like a game, but you have to be aware.
Right. Okay, can you just use the garden hose and spray them off, or do you kind of have to brush a little bit?
Depends on the buildup.
Okay.
Yes, start with the garden hose. It should suffice for everyone. If you have a really bad situation where you haven't cleaned it in years, and that's a lot of people,
Right.
that's when you should take a harder look and try and get in there with a soft bristle brush.
Okay, all right. So while we're on the topic of HVAC, I also wanted to talk about the Canadian wildfires. We've had an immense amount of haze in our area for quite some time, and air quality is finally getting better, but I don't think that people realize if you are running your air conditioning unit, that can eventually or will almost immediately impact your filter inside.
That's correct. The air inside your home, here's a great fact. The air inside your home is 5 to 10 times dirtier than the outside air.
Really?
Yeah. So a clean filter, again, if the filter's clogged, your air gets reduced and your furnace works harder.
Right.
Clean air filters are important. Now, air filters are rated what they call MERV rating.
MERV ratings. Okay.
And that value, the higher the number, the more efficient they are.
Okay.
So HEPA is like hospital quality.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people go to a big box store and they buy the 1-inch filter.
Right.
That's good for 1 month.
Oh, it's just good for 1 month?
Right. Some people
Not the 6 years it's been sitting in there?
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's the other thing. That's why people should get a furnace tune-up and an air conditioning tune-up once a year.
Okay.
That gets that clean and keeps it going.
Right.
But the air quality in your house, people have a lot of allergies now. With the off-gassing and the VOCs, bringing home stuff. People don't realize that respiratory issues are starting in the home.
Oh, sure.
Starts
sure.
with air quality.
Yeah. Do you ever get calls from people saying that just my air conditioner isn't running efficiently, or it is the air just doesn't seem clean in my home?
All the time. It's a common issue. People don't realize the air conditioner is a big part of your house. It's your lungs
Right.
and your furnace. Well, it brings in cooler air and it creates cooler air, but if it's not clean and scrubbed, then you're going to have and inhale all those pollen, mold, spores, dander, things like that.
It's cleaner outside. Unbelievable. Okay. Adam, thank you so much. I appreciate all
Pleasure to be
your
here.
time and effort. I'm calling Adam to get something done.